Hi everyone, Sam Quinton with Sonoma Publishing, right here in Frankfort, Kentucky, the little one-man publishing shop. This is being recorded February 3rd, 2025. It's 8:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right now. There is a lot of craziness, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of strange changes that are happening um, in the indie space for comic books and role-playing games. The impact of Diamond Distribution's Chapter 11 filing has yet to be fully felt. I'm very firmly convinced of that. Um, I would like to, before we go any further, to renew my request. Folks, if you would, if you have a pull list at your local comic shop, please go down and pick it up. Those guys are going to definitely need all the dollars that they can pull. If you have a local comic shop and you haven't been there in a while, why don't you go down and pick yourself something out of the backstock bin or some new comics or new RPGs or whatever. Support your local business and help them get through the trying times ahead. Okay, enough of that plug. With the Chapter 11 filing of Diamond, we have yet to feel the full impact of what that is going to mean to comics, collectibles, role-playing games, and the neighborhood comic and gaming shops, and card shops too, for that matter. We're gonna see um, a lot of people suffering a lot of stress. We're already seeing people being affected by Diamond's delayed or non-payment of accounts, and that trickling down to creators, artists, writers, letterers, people who did the heavy lifting to get the product made. And a lot of these folks now finding themselves in the position where they are owed a lot of money for working a lot of hours and having people constantly yelling at the top of their lungs that, oh, the money will be there eventually, or, oh, you're never going to get that money. That's pretty hard on humans, that uncertainty, that feeling that you don't know if you're going to be able to pay your rent next month or your mortgage, or how are you going to pay for your child's medication. So I would ask everyone, just whenever you're commenting on these events, that you remember that there are humans who are suffering at this time already. And with the production cycle that comics has utilized for decades, work that would be released in June is in many cases already done. Now, obviously, this is mostly affecting smaller publishers, the folks who are the most vulnerable to the loss of that revenue. Companies that tend to operate on thinner budgets than what you'd see at larger publishing houses. Folks for whom Diamond Distribution was the only way for them to get to the mass market. Now, I think that'll change. But that is one of the issues that we're dealing with right now. Another is the great anticipation for increased prices due to tariffs. Now, again, today's February 3rd. It's 8:30 in the evening, Eastern time. There have been, tariffs that were going to be put on, and now we're going to be on hold for a month on both sides of the U.S. border, going both directions. We'll see if politicians can get their act together and figure out how to get along. I'm not going to get political on that, but man, sometimes I want to. But for now, let's just say I am disappointed um, in a lot of ways. Now, with comics, there are a lot of people who are going to feel um, these pressures on their operations, and not just the studios that are larger and more commonly known, like Scout or Boom or IDW or Dynamite or whomever, right? You're going to see even folks like me who put out a few books a year rather than a few books a month, who are dependent upon crowdfunding, um, and folks who had campaigns that they were planning on fulfilling in the next couple of months, now uncertain what their final print costs are going to be. And that is a very scary place to be. Now, some of you are going to say, well, if you get the book done ahead of the campaign, then you don't have to worry about it. You know what your prices are going to be literally right when you're ready to order. And yeah, okay, true. But I am personally, I have a campaign coming up soon, and the total art and cover costs on and lettering and colors and everything on that, not counting printing, is about $8,000. Okay, so I've been, we've been shooting money into that to get that done. Getting all of that done ahead of time is outside of our capability right now. We just don't have the free capital to dump $8,000 into books prior to the crowdfunding campaigns. One day I hope that we do, because I think it will greatly streamline our operations to have those books completely done. We see that with Necroholic, with Brian being finished or a couple of pages away before we launch campaigns on that. That makes for a very, very smooth experience, right? So looking forward to more than of that in the future. But in the meantime, folks who have, hey, we've got this book being drawn. It's going to take us 6 months to draw it, and get it lettered and get colored, get lettered, and then 3 or 4 weeks to get printed, depending on where you're printing it. And then by the time we're ready to ship, we get it out, and then you're looking at all of these little things that can change in effect that you have to plot for, you have to plan for. So understand that this is going to add another layer of difficulty when we look at the impact that we may see from tariffs being levied on that affect our production and our production supply chain. The diamond impact, while not as sharply felt immediately, is definitely going to have the secondary and tertiary effects that ripple throughout the entire industry. We have already seen, and by we I mean me and a couple of guys that I know who make comics, have already seen folks from, who have been doing art and coloring and lettering from other bigger publishing outfits, who are scrambling to find work as payments are already late. And I want to make this very, very clear. I'm not laying this at the feet of the publishing companies on this one. Diamond has your books. Diamond collected money from retailers for your books. As far as I'm concerned, that's your money. I understand the bankruptcy proceedings and all that. It still really sucks. So my condolences and best wishes to all of our smaller indie press guys who were distributing every month through Diamond in good faith. For you guys to get smacked with this is horrific, and you have my deepest sympathies. Sincerely, sincerely. I just I feel badly for you guys. There will be some long lasting, deep felt changes, particularly in the indie scene, the American comic book industry. We will probably see changes like this also in other industries as well. Um, Literally, I don't think it's going to be confined to comics, role playing games. I think we're going to see it in trading card games, trading card games. Pardon me, I'll get the words out eventually. I think we're going to see it in to a lesser extent in board games. I think this will primarily be an effect of Alliance being sold off and an interruption in their processes while they adjust to new ownership. But there's one thing that I'm really optimistic about, and that is the tenacity of creators, of people who write and draw and create art and tell stories, the tenacity of them to emulate the heroes that they create who stand up to fight for what they believe in, the strength of will to have that same indomitable spirit as their most beloved villains that they've written and created. Um, Here's to all of you who, with the stroke of the pen and the pencil and the brush, fight your own personal battles with your own creativity and give rise to something beautiful. It's not easy, but it is admirable. I founded Snopa Publishing to build something of value I could leave to my children, and I intend to do just that. In the coming weeks, I've got a lot of promotion stuff I'm going to be doing. I will be working extra hard to try and make sure that we can get the same high quality products that we've been producing and try and keep our costs constrained. Again, I was on the phone with my printer during my lunch break today. We had a pretty good conversation. I am cautiously optimistic on a few avenues, but that's from more of a personal point. Pardon me. Industry wide, I do think we have some hard days ahead of us. So, as corny as it might sound, in these fandoms full of fantastic tales and heroes of every sort, from the garden variety everyday guy and gal to the superpowered demigods that fascinate our imagination. It's a time for heroes to stand up for their fandoms. Create with all your heart. Be very mindful of your money. Trust your audience. Cultivate them with the most grand quality you can master. Tell your stories from the heart. Create the art you always dreamed you could. And one day, maybe not in a few months, maybe not this year, hell, maybe not next year, we will get through this to the other side, and we will be bumped and bruised, banged up a bit. Some of us might call it quits, and some others may rise to take their place. But I'm looking forward to seeing all the wonders that you create. I'm looking forward to hearing about all the stories you have to tell. And I hope that you will take the time to enjoy mine as well. There are a lot of people who have made Sonoma Publishing the struggling little speck in the comic book and tabletop role-playing game industries. This little bitty dot in the dictionary that is the entire industry, right? The people who've backed our crowdfunding campaigns, who have come and sat with us and talked with us and bought our stuff at conventions. Everyone who picked up Tibby off the shelf under the Antarctic Press logo, and of course all of you who picked it up on the crowdfunding campaigns, both the original one for the books and all the subsequent ones when people picked them up as add-ons. You guys have done heroic things for me. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to push as hard as I can to get through the trying days ahead. Because it's something I'm building for the family. And what would I be if I couldn't find the energy and the wherewithal to push forward after you guys have given me so much? So, we're going to make some comics. We're going to make some role-playing games. Probably get the role-playing games out to crowdfunding this year, I hope. And some other stuff we've got working in the background that is still sitting on the back burner. But I hope you guys are ready for Tibby and her Time-Traveling Psychedelic Mushrooms issue 2, Reign of Ages issue 4, Necroholic issue 4, and hopefully issue 5 this year as well. 47 Furious Tales issue 4, and so very much more. This video was a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but I had a lot to say. So, if you would, for whatever channel you see this on, please do like and comment below, because that basically feeds every algorithm. And then share it around to wherever. Because somewhere I think there are some creators, because I've talked to a few already, who are very concerned, very worried about the future. If they're going to have to fold up shop, if they're going to have to call it quits on their dream. And for years I've said it, and I've been ridiculed for it. But the truth is, ladies and gentlemen, you're never defeated until you stop. So just keep going, no matter what piles onto you. Obviously, be responsible with your budget. Don't hurt yourself financially or physically. Make wonderful art. Tell beautiful stories. Let them out for the whole world to enjoy. And until our next video, I am Sam Quentin with Sonoma Publishing, right here in Frankfort, Kentucky. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening.